Good morning. Welcome to Chalice Unitarian Universalist Congregation. We are a community of diverse beliefs and experiences, nurturing the liberal religious spirit and united by our desire to grow in love and in service. Whoever you are, whomever you love, whatever your life's journey, you are welcome here. Whether you gather with us every Sunday, once or twice a year, or are with us this morning for the first time, we are glad you are here. I'm Reverend Sharon Wiley, Chalice's minister. Our worship musician this morning is our music director, Tim McKnight. Welcome to this online worship service. Please notice that on your menu, there is a button that says CC Live Transcript. This is our closed captioning service, and you can click on it to hide subtitle if you don't want to see it, or you can show subtitle if you do want that function on. Also on your menu is a chat button for those of you who like to use the chat box during the service, which you're welcome to do. And people are saying good morning and greeting each other right now. Please be sure that when you post that you've used that little blue drop-down menu to select panelists and attendees. I'm the only panelist, so if you only post to panelists, I likely won't see it during the service, and the chat box is meant to be for sharing up with all of us. So this is me standing at the door of our little chapel, greeting you on Sunday morning. Let's share hugs. This is how we indicate we're hugging each other. Give ourselves a big hug of hello and welcome. Maybe if you share space with someone, give that person a hug too. I want to especially welcome those of you who are newcomers at Chalice. In addition to this online worship, I'd like you to know that many of our activities and groups continue to happen online as well, also using Zoom, Zoom meeting format. Activities like our women's book club, men's breakfast group, support groups, religious education for children, all of these and more are happening online. So you don't have to be a member, a Chalice member, to participate in our groups and activities that are open to everyone. And so if you're new to Chalice and would have any questions, would like to learn more, you're invited to stay here in this Zoom space after the service ends, and we'll use the chat box for our newcomer chat. Now, let's take a breath together. We begin our service by acknowledging that wherever each of us is watching, if we are in what is now called the United States, then we are on land that has been stolen from indigenous people. Our congregational home in what is now called Escondido is on land that is part of the traditional territories of the 12 bands of the Kumeyaay Nation and the 7 bands of the Payamkasham, also called the Luiseno. Land that is sacred to us now as our place of worship was stolen from people for whom that land is still sacred. In recognition that we are the beneficiaries of a history of colonialism, we have made financial donations in the past year to 2 local indigenous-led organizations, California Indian Legal Services and the Kumeyaay Diegueño Land Conservancy. It is our hope at Chalice to find our way to right relationship with local tribes. Now we light our chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, a symbol of the best we aspire to be. The flaming chalice was first used during World War II by the Unitarian Service Committee as a symbol of life-saving refuge for people fleeing persecution in Europe. May our chalice flame burn brightly, that all who are seeking may find us. Beauty is the antidote to brokenness. This insight came to me a few years ago on sabbatical. I was taking good care of my body, resting and eating well. I was taking good care of my mind, reading and studying. But what about my broken heart, I wondered. How do I tend to my grief, my hurt, my confusion about the world? Beauty is the antidote to brokenness. The answer came to me as clearly as if the words had been spoken to me, and I picked up a book of art and immersed myself. I wrote poetry. I went to public gardens. I went to art museums. The hope of our service this morning is to offer you experiences of beauty, not to talk about beauty, but to experience the beauty of music, of poetry, of song, of story. Beauty is the antidote to brokenness. You whose hearts are broken, welcome. You whom pain has touched and sorrow and shock. You who have cried this week and read the news with sorrow. You whom loss has shadowed, you who grieve. Welcome, welcome. You with hearts open to joy and hope, welcome. You whom love has touched and friendship and wonder. You who have laughed this week and felt gratitude for life's many blessings. You to whom gifts are given in abundance. You who rejoice. Welcome, welcome. All our hearts are broken and open. All of us grieve and rejoice. This is our hour to gather and sing and cry and laugh. Let us worship together. In our Unitarian Universalist faith tradition, the time between Martin Luther King Jr. Day and Valentine's Day has become known as the 30 Days of Love. It is a time to lift up the ways that you use and many of our partner organizations are building and organizing by taking bold, courageous action for intersectional racial justice. There are ways to engage with and participate in the 30 Days of Love online. I'll post a link in the chat box. And here at Chalice, we are marking this time by singing "Let There Be Peace on Earth" these 5 Sundays. This hymn is often sung at interfaith gatherings, so we want to become familiar to be able to sing with confidence. Please join in singing.
Let there be peace on earth, and let
Today is our annual worship service honoring the Neo-Pagan and Celtic holiday of Imbolc, traditionally celebrated on February 1st at the midpoint between the winter solstice and spring equinox. This is a celebration of the earliest signs of spring, when little bits of green might start to show through the snow. The word Imbolc comes from a Gaelic word for milking, referring to the ewe's milk that indicates the coming birth of the lambs. In a time of long, hard winter, it is important to celebrate even the smallest signs that winter will indeed come to an end. This holiday is strongly associated with the goddess Brigid, also pronounced Breed. The goddess Brigid, the greatest of the Celtic divinities, is the goddess of poetry, healing, everything high and elevated, such as wisdom, excellence, perfection, high intelligence. And she is also associated with the hearth and the home. She is worshipped in the Catholic tradition as Saint Brigid, whose feast day is February 1st. Saint Brigid is one of Ireland's patron saints. Brigid is the greatest of the Celtic divinities and is closely associated with the land. She is the protector of wells and springs. She's the guardian of nature and therefore agriculture. She is specifically associated with livestock. And as a fertility goddess, Brigid is also the patron of the poets, artists, and others who create, including mothers. This year, we honor her with this celebration of the arts: music, song, story, poetry. These artistic expressions can create doorways to feeling for those of us who are coping with hard times. Living in hard times, we can't, most of us, let ourselves be overcome with emotion every day, or we wouldn't be able to function. At the same time, we need to be sure we aren't ignoring or squelching feelings that need to be expressed. So may this hour help create space for our feelings of joy, sorrow, laughter, and hope.
Holy water, sacred flame, Brigid, we invoke your name. Bless my hands, my head, my heart. Source of healing, song and art. Holy water, sacred flame, Brigid, we invoke your name. Bless my hands, my head, my heart. Source of healing, song and art. Brigid, water, sacred flame, Brigid, we invoke your name. Bless my hands, my head, my heart. Source of healing, song and art. changed by what you've started, quick to be delighted, singing as you go. Hail and Hosanna, young growing God, great living God, never fully known. Joyful darkness far beyond our seeing, closer yet than breathing, everlasting hope. Hail and Hosanna, great living God.
What Color is the Wind? By Anne Erbaugh. What color is the wind? Asked the little giant. The little giant set out early to search for the wind and its color. He meets an old dog and asks, "What color is the wind?" "It has a color," says the dog. "It is pink, flowery, pale, white." "No," said the wolf. "The wind is the dark smell of the forest." The little giant bumps into an elephant. He asks, "What color is the wind?" "It is round, cold, gray, and smooth." "No," sighs the mountain. "It is blue." The little giant passes through town. What color is the wind? The color of curtains, laundry, clothes. But the window disagrees. It is the color of time. So the little giant asks the rain, "What color is the wind?" The rain knows nothing. But the bees are buzzing. The wind is the color of sunshine. A stream runs by. What color is the wind? That of the sky reflected in water. Water, water, water. The little giant rests at the foot of a tree. What color is the wind? He sighs. A sugary color, murmurs the apple tree. No, no, the roots rumble. It is the color of sap and pomegranates. The little giant takes an apple and bites into it. What color is the wind? Red, says the apple. Then it's gone. The little giant asks a bird, "What color?" But the bird has flown away. The little giant comes across someone he senses is enormous. What color is the wind? And the enormous giant, with a slow gesture, says, "The color of the wind? It is everything at once. This whole book." Then he takes the book and, thumb against its edge, he lets the pages fly. The giant feels the wind and its gentleness. The wind of the book. The end.
Mr. President, Dr. Biden, Madam Vice President, Mr. Emhoff, Americans, and the world. When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade? The loss we carry, a sea we must wade. We've braved the belly of the beast. We've learned that quiet isn't always peace. In the norms and notions of what just isn't always just is. And yet the dawn is ours before we knew it. Somehow we do it. Somehow we've weathered and witnessed a nation that isn't broken, but simply unfinished. We, the successors of a country and a time where a skinny black girl descended from slaves and raised by a single mother can dream of becoming president, only to find herself reciting for one. And yes, we are far from polished, far from pristine, but that doesn't mean we are striving to form a union that is perfect. We are striving to forge our union with purpose, to compose a country committed to all cultures, colors, characters, and conditions of man. And so we lift our gazes not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first. We must first put our differences aside. We lay down our arms so we can reach out our arms to one another. We seek harm to none and harmony for all. Let the globe, if nothing else, say this is true. That even as we grieved, we grew, that even as we hurt, we hoped, that even as we tired, we tried, that we'll forever be tied together, victorious, not because we will never again know defeat, but because we will never again sow division. Scripture tells us to envision that everyone shall sit under their own vine and fig tree, and no one shall make them afraid. If we're to live up to our own time, then victory won't lie in the blade, but in all the bridges we've made. That is the promised glade, the hill we climb, if only we dare it, because being American is more than a pride we inherit. It's the past we step into and how we repair it. We've seen a force that would shatter our nation rather than share it, would destroy our country if it meant delaying democracy. And this effort very nearly succeeded. But while democracy can be periodically delayed, it can never be permanently defeated. In this truth, in this faith we trust, for while we have our eyes on the future, history has its eyes on us. This is the era of just redemption. We feared it at its inception. We did not feel prepared to be the heirs of such a terrifying hour, but within it we found the power to author a new chapter, to offer hope and laughter to ourselves. So, while once we asked, how could we possibly prevail over catastrophe? Now we assert, how could catastrophe possibly prevail over us? We will not march back to what was, but move to what shall be, a country that is bruised but whole, benevolent but bold, fierce and free. We will not be turned around or interrupted by intimidation, because we know our inaction and inertia will be the inheritance of the next generation. Our blunders become their burdens. But one thing is certain: if we merge mercy with might and might with right, then love becomes our legacy and change our children's birthright. So let us leave behind a country better than the one we were left. With every breath from my bronze-pounded chest, we will raise this wounded world into a wondrous one. We will rise from the gold-limbed hills of the west. We will rise from the wind-swept northeast, where our forefathers first realized revolution. We will rise from the lake-rimmed cities of the Midwestern states. We will rise from the sun-baked south. We will rebuild reconcile, and recover in every known nook of our nation, in every corner called our country. Our people, diverse and beautiful, will emerge battered and beautiful. When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it. For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it.
Hey, you guys, Leah here. So I must be among millions, if not billions of people who tuned in to the inauguration yesterday on January 20th, 2021. And I was inspired by every moment of it, but especially wrapped and lifted, exalted, just completely fixated and moved by Amanda Gorman's poem, her presence, her beauty, her artistry. And so this song was born. There is always a light when we are ready to see it. There is always a light when we are ready to be it. To see the light, to be the light, to raise our eyes in the dark of night, to climb this hill, together we will. There is always your light in the dark. We are ready to see it. There is always your light in the dark. We are ready to be it. To see the light, to be the light, to raise our eyes in the dark of night and be a gift. Together we will. There is always your light. There is always light. We are ready to see it. There is always your light. There is always in the dark. We are ready to be it. To see the light, to be the light, to raise our eyes in the dark of night and be a gift. Together we will. There is always light. There is always light. There is always light. There is always light. To see the light, to be the light, to raise our eyes in the dark of night and be a climb this hill. Together we will. There is always shine. There is always in the dark. There is always shine. There is always shine. Be the light.
Our Sunday worship is the shared spiritual practice of our community, and we tend to the congregation during this time by honoring our joys and sorrows. If you would like to share a joy or sorrow with the congregation this morning, now is the time for sharing in the chat box. If you would like to send me a confidential note about your joy or sorrow, please email me and I'll put my email address in the chat box as well.
I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river, I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've strength like a mountain in my soul. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain. I've got strength like a mountain in my soul.
Although the humans in our congregation aren't able to gather at our Chalice campus right now, we did have a sleepover for stuffed animals a couple of weeks ago. Here are some photos of their fun overnight, and many thanks to our Director of Family Ministries, Chris O'Connor, for putting the sleepover together. Enjoy the beauty of playfulness. The Sunday offering is an expression of the generosity that makes our congregational life possible. Today is a social justice Sunday when we donate our offering to a local organization that makes a difference in our larger community. This Sunday, we are taking a special collection for the Center for Community Solutions. I hope you will see the beauty in what we are able to do when we come together to try to make things better.
Good morning, Chalice Unitarian Congregation. I'm Verna Griffin-Tabor, and I'm the CEO of a 52-year-old nonprofit, Center for Community Solutions. Our focus is to support those impacted by domestic violence and sexual assault, as well as invest heavily in prevention because we know this violence is preventable. We offer our services throughout San Diego County, and here in Escondido, we have an office at 210 South Juniper and 2 domestic violence shelters in the Escondido area at confidential locations. Last year, we touched 18,000 San Diegans. We did this through responding to law enforcement when somebody calls who's been raped and joining them by their hospital bed through the evidentiary. We also provide 24-hour crisis hotline. We have legal services and counseling services, as well as the prevention and education on school campuses, college campuses, and in the community. We are so grateful for this 10 years of support that your congregation has provided for CCS with over $24,000 during that time. Now, more than ever, are these supports so needed. Your support has helped us sustain and provide these life-saving services. When the pandemic started and people were told to shelter in place with people who were harming them, we have seen since that has happened a 64% increase in calls to our hotline for help. Thank you for your generosity, compassion, and kindness in your support for us, because we've been able to offer healing and hope and planting seeds that will last forever. Again, thank you for compassion, generosity, and kindness.
There are two ways to donate. You can make a donation directly to the Center for Community Solutions. I'll put the link in the chat box. That way you can be added to their mailing list and get news directly from them. If you prefer, you can text your donation to Chalice and we will forward the donation without your individual names. To indicate your donation for this special offering, please text your dollar amount and the word justice, because this is a social justice collection. If your Sunday donation is meant to be part of your pledge payment, please be sure to indicate pledge after the dollar amount. Please give generously. Please join in dedicating our offering with words of affirmation. Open hearts, open minds, open doors, nurturing spirits, seeking justice within the wider world. This is our mission.
Many windows, one light.
the Messiah Jesus says, whatever you wish that others would do to you, do so for them.
In the Buddhist text of the Udana Varga, the student is urged, hurt not others in ways that you yourself would find hurtful. It is written, it is taught, may it be so.
Regard your neighbor's gain as your own gain, and your neighbor's loss as your own loss. It is written, it is taught, may it be so.
There is a saying, the heart of the person before you is a mirror. See there your own form.
The Oglala Lakota spiritual leader, Black Elk, wrote, all things are our relatives. What we do to everything, we do to ourselves. It is written, it is taught, may it be so.
Hi, I'm Richard Blanco. I wrote this poem to envision what a post-pandemic world might look and feel like, to think about the lessons we might take with us into the future. Say this isn't the end. Say we live on. Say we'll forget the masks that kept us from dying from the invisible, but say we won't ever forget the invisible masks we realized we had been wearing most our lives, disguising ourselves from each other. Say we won't veil ourselves again, that our souls will keep breathing timelessly, that we won't return to clocking our lives with lists and appointments. Say we'll keep our days as errant as sun showers, impulsive as the stars falling. Say this isn't our end. Say I'll get to be thrilled as a boy, spinning again in my barber's chair. Tell him how much I'd missed his winged scissors chirping away at my shaggy hair, eclipsing my eyes, his warm clouds of foam, the sharp love of his razor's tender strokes on my beard. Say I'll get more chances to say more than, "Thanks, Shirley," at the checkout line. Praise her turquoise jewelry, her son in photos taped to her register, dare to ask about her throat cancer. Say this isn't her end. Say my mother's wrinkled eyes won't die from the goodbye kiss I last gave her. Say that wasn't our final goodbye, nor will we be stranded behind a quarantine window, trying to see our refracted faces beyond the glare, read our lips, press the warmth of our palms to the cold glass. Say I won't be kept from her bedside to listen to her last words, that we'll have years to speak of the decades of our unspoken love that separated us. Say this isn't how we'll end. Say all the restaurant chairs will get back on their feet, that we'll all sit for another lifetime of savoring all we had never fully savored. The server as poet reciting flavors not on the menu, the candlelight flicker as appetizer, friends spicy gossip and rich saucy laughter, sharing entrees of memories no longer 6 feet apart. Our beloved's lips as velvety as the wine, the dessert served sweet in their eyes. Say this is no one's end. Say my husband and I will keep on honing our home cooking together, find new recipes for love in the kitchen. Our kisses and tears while dicing onions, eggs cracking in tune to Aretha's croon, dancing as we heat up the oven. Say we'll never stop feasting on the taste of our stories, sweet or sour, but say our table will never be set for just one. Say neither of us dies. Many more cheers to our good health. Say we will never end. Say we'll all still take the time we once needed to walk alone and gently through our neighborhoods, keep noticing the zen of anthills and sidewalk cracks, blossoming weeds, of yappy dogs and silent swing sets rusting in backyards, of neat hedges hiding mansions and scruffy lawns of boarded up homes. Say we won't forget our seeing that every kind of life is a life worth living, worth saving. Say this is nobody's end. Or say this will be my end. Say the loving hands of gloved, gowned angels risking their lives to save mine won't be able to keep me here. Say this is the last breath of my last poem, will of my last thoughts. I've witnessed massive swarms of fireflies grace my garden like never before, drawn to the air cleansed of our arrogant greed. Their glow, a flashback to the time before us, omen of earth without us, a reminder we're never immune to nature. I say this might be the end we've always needed to begin again. I say this may be the end to let us hope, to heal, to evolve, reach the stars. Again, I'll say, heal, evolve, reach the stars, and become the stars that became us, whether or not this is or is not the end.
On the day we are together again, on the day we are together again, I will pull you in close like a hoop with no end. On the day we are together again, we will share the same table again. We will share the same table again. I'll pass you the salt, the candlelight will bend when we eat at the same table again. We will walk around the block hand in hand. We will walk around the block hand in hand. We'll stop for a snack at the taco truck stand. We will walk around the block hand in hand. Someday we will go back to work. Someday we will go back to work. May we be among people who respect our worth. Someday we will go back to work. I will help the strangers I meet. I will help the strangers I meet. It is possible to get back on our feet. I will help the strangers I meet. I will write you a letter from washing on a far distant sand. Bringing my song is the wind of my breast, and my love blows over the land. And my love, and my love, and my love blows over the land. My hands hold the weavings of time without end. My sight as deep as the sea. Beating my heart sounds the measures of old, that of a love's eternity. That of love, that of love, that of love's eternity. My foot carries days of the old into new. Our dreaming shows us the way. Wondrous our faith settles deep in the earth, rising green to bring a new day. Rising green, rising green, rising green to bring a new day.
Beauty is the antidote to brokenness. May we see the beauty all around us. May we find laughter and hope when we need them. May we find each other when we need friendship and comfort. May we find joy. May we find support. May we find peace. May it be so. Blessed be. I want to let you know that I created a little playlist of pagan Imbolc songs that are available on our YouTube channel. On our main page, you can just scroll down to find that playlist. We're going to close our time together by singing The Well, and then please stay put. I know the service was long today, but please stay put for a quick announcement. Did you know that our auction is coming up? And do you know what today is? And newcomers are invited to stay here in the worship to have a newcomer chat, and everyone is invited to our coffee hour.